You might not believe this, but in the early 90s, Pepsi tried to change the entire soda industry with one shocking idea: a cola that looked like water. Imagine walking into a store, reaching for your favorite drink, and realizing it's crystal clear. No caramel color, no fizzing brown liquid, just a transparent soda in a sleek, futuristic bottle. That was Crystal Pepsi, the drink that was supposed to represent a new era of purity, innovation, and optimism. Pepsi wasn't just selling a beverage, they were selling a lifestyle, one that screamed, "The future is now." Back in 1992, the world was obsessed with everything clean and high-tech. Computers were becoming household items, minimalism was trendy, and the concept of clear products from shampoo to soap was everywhere. Pepsi saw this wave and decided to ride it in style. Their idea was simple but bold: take the taste of Pepsi and remove the color. It would symbolize transparency, freshness, and health, all the things people were craving as they moved into a new decade. The drink itself looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie, crystal clear, sparkling, and mysterious. The genius or madness behind it came from a Pepsi marketing executive named David Novak. He believed that the world was ready for something revolutionary, something that would make consumers question everything they thought they knew about cola. PepsiCo poured millions into development, designing a drink that would taste like Pepsi but look pure and futuristic. And for a moment, it seemed like they had created magic. Focus groups were stunned. Supermarket executives were thrilled. Even Pepsi's competitors were reportedly nervous. When Crystal Pepsi finally hit the shelves, it didn't just blend in, it stood out like nothing else. Shoppers stopped in their tracks, staring at this transparent bottle that promised something completely different. Pepsi packaged it as a caffeine-free, clear alternative to cola, aiming straight for people who wanted a modern, healthy image. It wasn't just about taste anymore, it was about being part of a cultural shift. And in that moment, Pepsi wasn't just a soda company. It was a visionary trying to redefine what the future of refreshment could look like. For a short while, it worked because Crystal Pepsi didn't just enter the market, it made the market. The clear revolution had begun. People didn't just buy Crystal Pepsi, they talked about it. Suddenly, everyone was asking the same question: what does it taste like? The curiosity was electric. Pepsi knew exactly how to play it. They launched one of the biggest marketing blitzes of the early 90s, complete with a Super Bowl commercial that looked like a scene from a music video: bold, fast, and full of energy. The message was clear: this wasn't just soda, this was the future of soda. The campaign's tagline, "You've never seen a taste like this," perfectly captured the mystery. It wasn't just another product launch, it was an event. People lined up to try it, and shelves emptied as soon as they were stocked. Even the bottle itself looked ahead of its time: sleek curves, icy blue branding, and a shine that made it feel more like a tech gadget than a drink. Pop culture embraced it instantly. Music videos, TV shows, and magazines were full of futuristic aesthetics, and Crystal Pepsi fit right in. It was part of that early 90s optimism, the belief that technology and design were going to make life better, cleaner, and more exciting. The drink wasn't dark or heavy like traditional colas. It was light, refreshing, and visually pure. People described it as weirdly good, not quite Pepsi, not quite lemon lime, but something completely its own. For Pepsi, this was a massive win, at least at first. It gave the company a bold, modern image that appealed to younger audiences tired of tradition. The Super Bowl ad featuring Van Halen's "Right Now" became an instant classic, hammering home that this was a drink for people who wanted to live in the moment. Pepsi executives believed they had found lightning in a bottle, literally. In that brief window, Crystal Pepsi became the drink everyone had to try. It was the perfect conversation starter, the kind of product that made you feel like you were witnessing a piece of the future. For a brand that had spent decades battling Coca-Cola, Crystal Pepsi was more than just a new flavor, it was a declaration of innovation, a bright, clear symbol of the decade's obsession with reinvention. But what nobody realized then was that this shiny new symbol of the future was already counting down its final moments. The clear craze was about to collide head-on with reality. For a brief shining moment, Crystal Pepsi wasn't just a drink, it was a statement. You'd see it on lunch tables at school, in office break rooms, and on store displays that looked like something straight out of Back to the Future. Pepsi had managed to create a cultural moment that perfectly captured early 90s optimism. People were fascinated. Here was a cola that looked like water but carried the branding of one of the world's biggest soft drink giants. It was new, daring, and most importantly, different. In those first few months, Crystal Pepsi was everywhere. Magazines hyped it up as a glimpse into a cleaner, more modern world. Commercials were filled with bright colors, uplifting music, and a sense of energy that defined the decade. It even became a small pop culture icon, showing up in parodies, celebrity endorsements, and casual references across TV. It was more than a drink, it was part of a lifestyle that celebrated innovation and change. But behind all the excitement, there was one big problem Pepsi didn't see coming: taste. While people loved how Crystal Pepsi looked, not everyone loved how it tasted. It was sweeter, lighter, and slightly citrusy, familiar yet strange. Fans of traditional cola couldn't quite figure it out. It didn't deliver that deep caramel flavor they associated with Pepsi. For many, it was more novelty than necessity, something to try once and move on from. Still, for a brief moment, it felt like the clear revolution had truly arrived. And then, almost as fast as it appeared, the magic started to fade. The downfall of Crystal Pepsi is one of the most infamous stories in marketing history. It started with confusion. People couldn't decide if they liked it, or even what it was supposed to be. Some thought it was a diet soda, others expected it to taste exactly like Pepsi, just without the color. When it didn't meet those expectations, curiosity turned into disappointment. Coca-Cola saw this confusion and made a bold and some say devious move. They launched Tab Clear, another transparent cola, but intentionally marketed it as a diet drink. According to reports, Coke's plan wasn't to win the clear cola war, it was to destroy it entirely. And it worked! The sudden flood of clear sodas on shelves made the trend look like a passing fad. Consumers lost interest fast, and Crystal Pepsi's identity got swallowed in the chaos. Inside Pepsi, executives scrambled to fix things. They tried new marketing angles and even tweaked the formula, but it was too late. The drink's reputation had turned flat, literally and figuratively. Within a year, Crystal Pepsi was pulled from stores. What began as one of Pepsi's boldest innovations had turned into one of its biggest letdowns. Still, its failure wasn't just about the flavor, it was about timing. The world wasn't ready for a cola that didn't look like cola. Consumers wanted the comfort of what they knew, not a science experiment in a bottle. The idea was brilliant, just too far ahead of its time. Years later, though, something strange happened. People started missing it. Nostalgia kicked in hard. Those who were kids in the 90s remembered Crystal Pepsi not for how it tasted, but for what it represented. A moment when everything felt new, bold, and full of possibility. Internet forums, fan pages, and YouTube videos began calling for its comeback. It wasn't irony or mockery, it was genuine affection for a piece of forgotten pop culture. Pepsi took notice. In the 2010 seconds, they brought Crystal Pepsi back in limited releases, and each time, it caused a wave of excitement. Fans lined up to grab bottles, post photos, and relive the feeling of being part of something special. The taste hadn't changed much, but the meaning had. Now it was a nostalgic time capsule, not a futuristic experiment. Today, Crystal Pepsi stands as a symbol of how failure can still create lasting legacy. It reminds people of an era when companies weren't afraid to take risks, when design and innovation could make even a simple soda feel like a revolution. For millennials, it's a sweet memory of childhood shelves lined with impossible ideas, of a time when the future came in a clear bottle and tasted like curiosity itself. Crystal Pepsi didn't disappear overnight. It just transformed from a failed experiment into a nostalgic legend that still sparkles in the memories of those who saw it shine.